Captain Kang Wu stood on the bridge of Terra's Hope and watched the stars change around him. The ship moved through space faster than light, heading toward a meeting that would change everything for humanity. 3 months ago, aliens had found Earth. Now Wu was going to meet their leaders. "Captain, we will reach the station in 2 hours," said Navigator Lee So-jin from her seat. She was young but skilled, and Wu trusted her completely. Her hands moved over the controls with ease as she guided their ship through the darkness of space. "Thank you, So-jin," Wu replied. He looked around the bridge at his small crew. These 3 people were the best Earth had to offer. Park Jin-ho sat at the communications station listening to alien radio signals. His job was to make sure they could talk to the aliens without problems. At the science station, Kim Da-hee studied everything they knew about the alien races. She was brilliant and had learned their languages faster than anyone thought possible. Wu felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Earth had chosen him to speak for all humans. The mission was simple but important. Join the Galactic Council and make friends with the alien races. Earth needed allies and trade partners. The planet was running out of some resources, and the aliens had technology that could help. "Captain," Jin-ho called out, "I'm getting a message from the station. They want to know our purpose." "Tell them, we come in peace for the diplomatic meeting," Wu said. "Use the formal language Da-hee taught us." Jin-ho spoke into his microphone in the strange alien language. The sounds were hard for human mouths to make, but he had practiced for months. After a moment, he got a reply. "They say we can approach the station. They're sending us a flight path to follow." Through the main window, Wu saw their destination appear. Galactic Council Station Omega-7 was huge, bigger than any city on Earth. It looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly in space, with lights covering its surface like stars. Ships from different alien races moved around it like insects, around a lamp. "Look at the size of that thing," So-jin whispered. "How many people live there?" "The reports say about 50 million beings from 12 different races," Da-hee answered. "It's one of the smaller council stations." Wu tried not to feel small as their ship got closer. Terra's Hope was Earth's most advanced vessel, but next, to the alien ships it looked like a toy. Some of the alien ships were so big they could hold entire cities. Others were strange shapes that seemed to bend light around them. "Incoming message," Jin-ho reported. "It's from someone called Veltar Kos. He says he's the council chairman." "Put it on the main screen," Wu ordered. The window in front of them changed to show an alien face. Veltar Kos looked like he was made of living crystal. His skin was blue and seemed to glow from within. His eyes were large and silver, and when he spoke, his voice sounded like wind chimes. "Welcome, humans," Kos said. "I am Chairman Kos of the Galactic Council. We are curious to meet your species." Wu stepped forward. "Thank you, Chairman Kos. I am Captain Kang Wu, representing Earth and humanity. We are honored to be here." "Yes," Kos said, but his tone seemed cold. "We have heard much about your kind. You have grown very quickly. Most species take thousands of years to reach space. Humans have done it in just 200 years since your industrial age began." "We are a determined people," Wu replied carefully. "We hope to learn from the older races and contribute what we can." Kos nodded slowly. "We shall see. Dock at Bay 7. The council will meet with you soon." The screen went dark. "He didn't seem very friendly," So-jin said quietly. "Maybe that's just how his people talk," Jin-ho suggested, but he didn't sound sure. Da-hee was studying her computer screen. "Captain, I've been reading about the council members. There are 3 main races that control everything. The Veltari, like Chairman Kos, are the oldest. They've been in space for 50,000 years. The Hethkon look like giant insects and control most of the military. The Nolvari are made of gas and handle trade and resources." "What do they think about new races joining?" Wu asked. "That's the problem," Da-hee said. "In the last 1,000 years, only 2 new races have joined the council. Both had to give up their military and let the council control their technology development." Wu frowned. "That doesn't sound like an equal partnership." "No, sir, it doesn't. They're Ship moved into the docking bay and Wu felt the artificial gravity of the station take hold. Through the windows he could see alien workers moving around. Some walked on two legs like humans, but others crawled on many legs or floated in the air. "Captain," Jin-Ho said, "I'm picking up a lot of radio traffic. Most of it's in languages. I don't understand, but some is in Council Standard. They're talking about us." "What are they saying?" "Words like dangerous and too fast keep coming up. Some are calling us the weapon makers." Wu's heart sank. "They're afraid of us." "Maybe we can change their minds," So Jin said hopefully. "I hope so," Wu replied, but he was starting to worry. Earth had sent him to make friends, but it seemed like the aliens had already decided humans were enemies. The docking process finished and Wu gathered his crew. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today. Stay calm, be respectful, and don't let them see our concerns. We're here to build bridges, not walls." As they walked toward the station's entrance, Wu tried to push down his growing unease. Something felt wrong about this whole situation, but Earth was counting on him. He would do his job and hope for the best. The airlock opened, and they stepped into a new world filled with aliens who might never accept humanity as equals. The council chamber was enormous. Captain Kang Wu had never seen a room so big. The ceiling disappeared into darkness high above, and the walls curved away like they were inside a giant ball. Hundreds of alien beings sat in rows of seats that went up and up like a mountain made of benches. Wu walked with his crew toward the center of the room. Their footsteps echoed in the huge space. At the front sat the three most powerful beings in the galaxy. Chairman Veltar Kos glowed blue from his crystal body. Next to him was Military Commander Hethakan Zix, who looked like a giant praying mantis with armor covering his green skin. The third leader was harder to see because Nolvari Prime appeared as a cloud of purple gas floating in a clear container. "Humans," Chairman Kos said, his voice ringing through the chamber. "You stand before the Galactic Council to request membership. Tell us why we should accept your species." Wu stepped forward. He had practiced this speech many times. "Honorable Council members, humanity comes in peace. We offer our friendship, our knowledge, and our willingness to learn from the wise races that came before us." A sound like angry buzzing came from Commander Zix. "Your species has been in space for less than 100 years, yet you already have weapons that can destroy planets. Why do you need such power?" "Our nuclear weapons exist for defense only," Wu replied. "We have never used them against another world. On Earth, we learned that having strong defenses helps keep peace." "Peace?" Kos's crystal face showed no emotion. "Your planet has been at war for most of its history. Even now, your nations point weapons at each other." Kim Da-hee stepped closer to Wu. She whispered, "Captain, they know too much about our military. This information isn't in what we shared with them." Wu felt a cold fear in his stomach, but he kept his voice steady. "Every species has conflicts as it grows. We have moved past our worst impulses. Humanity united when we reached for the stars." "Commander," Zix made that buzzing sound again. "Yet you brought a warship to our station." "Terra's Hope is an exploration vessel," Wu protested. "With missile launchers and particle beam weapons," Zix shot back. "We have scanned your ship completely." Li So-jin looked shocked. "How did they scan us? Our shields were up the whole time." The purple gas that was Nolvari Prime swirled in its container. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Humans developed technology too quickly. In 2 centuries, you went from riding animals to crossing space. This is not natural." "We are a curious people," Wu said. "We learn fast because we have to. Our world has many challenges." "Perhaps," Kos said slowly. "But fast growth can be dangerous. New species often make mistakes that hurt everyone. The Council has a duty to protect the galaxy." "What are you suggesting?" Wu asked, though he was starting to fear the answer. Kos stood up from his crystal throne. "Humanity will be allowed to join the Council, but with conditions. You must surrender all military technology to Council control. Your space fleet will be disbanded. Council, Supervisors will oversee your technological development. You will be guided by wiser species until you are ready for full membership. The chamber fell silent. Wu looked at his crew and saw anger on their faces. This wasn't membership. It was surrender. How long would this guidance period last? Wu asked. Until the council decides you are ready, Zix replied. Perhaps a few thousand years. Back on Earth, Admiral Cho Min-jun paced in the command center. He hadn't heard from the diplomatic mission in 6 hours. That was too long. Sir, Colonel Yoon Hairi said from her station, I'm not getting any response from Terra's Hope. Either their communications are down or something is blocking our signals. Keep trying, Cho ordered, and start preparing the backup plans we discussed. Sir, the President wanted us to trust the diplomatic process. I do trust it, Cho said. But I also trust my instincts, and right now they're screaming that something is wrong. On the station, Wu was thinking fast. The Council's demands were impossible. Earth would never agree to become a servant race. But if he said no here, what would happen to his crew? The Council's offer is generous, Wu said carefully. But I cannot speak for all of humanity on such important matters. I need to discuss this with my government. That will not be necessary, Koss said. His crystal face somehow managed to look cold. We have already been watching your planet. We know about your military preparations. We know about your secret weapons projects. We know about your plans to expand into our territory. That's not true, Wu said firmly. We have no plans to attack anyone. Commander Zix stood up to his full height, towering over the humans. Then explain these. A large screen appeared in the air above them. It showed pictures of Earth's military bases, blueprints of weapons, and recordings of military meetings. But some of the information was wrong. The weapons looked more powerful than they really were. The military bases showed equipment that didn't exist. This evidence has been altered, Da-hee said loudly. Those weapon designs are not real. Silence, Zix buzzed angrily. Do you accuse the Council of lying? I accuse someone of lying, Da-hee replied bravely. Koss raised a crystal hand. Enough. Captain Wu, you and your species have been planning war against the Council. This evidence proves your aggressive intentions. Wu's heart pounded. This was a trap. Someone had been spying on Earth and changing the information to make humans look dangerous. Chairman Koss, I swear to you that humanity has no plans to attack the Council. We came here seeking peace. Your words mean nothing when your actions speak louder, Koss said. The Council has reached a decision. You, Captain Kang Wu, are guilty of espionage and planning war crimes against peaceful species. Your crew is guilty of helping you. Guards appeared from nowhere. They were tall aliens in black armor carrying weapons that hummed with energy. Wu reached for his sidearm, but stopped when he saw how many there were. Fighting would only get his crew killed. This is wrong, Jinho said as the guards surrounded them. I know, Wu replied quietly, but we have to think of Earth now. As the energy shackles closed around his wrists, Wu realized the horrible truth. The Council had never planned to accept humanity as equals. They had been planning this trap from the beginning. The question was why they wanted to destroy the human race. The last thing Wu saw before they dragged him away was Da-hee slipping something small into a maintenance vent. Whatever she was doing, he hoped it would help Earth understand what had really happened here. Captain Kang Wu stood in the execution chamber with his hands bound behind his back. The room was small and cold, with smooth metal walls that reflected the harsh lights above. Through a large window, he could see hundreds of alien beings watching him. Some looked curious, others seemed afraid, and a few appeared to enjoy what was about to happen. Chairman Veltar Koss spoke into a microphone that carried his voice across the galaxy. Citizens of the Council, today we remove a threat to galactic peace. Captain Kang Wu of the human species has been found guilty of espionage and planning war against innocent worlds. His execution will show all aggressive races what happens when they threaten the Council. Wu wanted to shout that it was all lies, but a force field covered his mouth. He could only watch as his death became a show for the entire galaxy. In another room, He knew his crew was being held prisoner. Lee So-jin, Park Jin-ho, and Kim Da-hee had tried to defend him during the trial, but the council wouldn't listen to their words. The execution device was simple, but terrible. It would stop his heart instantly and without pain. But that didn't make Wu feel better. He thought about Earth, about his family, about all the people who would never know the truth about what happened here. Commander Hethikan Zix stepped forward. Let this be a lesson to any species that thinks violence is the answer. The Council has kept peace for 10,000 years. We will not let primitive races destroy what we have built. Back on Earth, Admiral Cho Min-jun watched the broadcast with growing horror. The entire command center had gone silent as they realized what was happening. Their best captain, their hope for peaceful contact with the aliens, was about to die for crimes he never committed. Sir, Colonel Yoon Hae-ri said, in a shaking voice, we're getting reports from around the world. Every government is watching this. Can we do anything to stop it? Cho asked desperately. No, sir, we're too far away and we don't have any ships that can reach the council station in time. President Shin Ye-jin burst into the command center, with Defense Minister Bae Tae-ho right behind her. Admiral, tell me this isn't real. I wish I could, Madam President, Cho replied. But it's happening right now. On the screen, Chairman Koss raised his crystal hand. The sentence will now be carried out. But before anything could happen, a small cleaning robot rolled across the floor of the execution chamber. Nobody paid attention to it, except for the hidden camera inside. Kim Da-hee had managed to record everything that happened during their arrest and trial. The little robot contained proof that the council had lied about the evidence against humanity. The robot sent its data packet through the station's communication system, hiding the message inside normal maintenance reports. It would take hours to reach Earth, but when it did, the truth would finally come out. Wu closed his eyes and thought about his home planet. He hoped Earth would be wise enough to avoid a war they couldn't win. He hoped his sacrifice would mean something. The execution device activated. Captain Kang Wu died believing he had failed his mission. He never knew that his death would wake up something in humanity that the aliens never expected to see. 3 hours later, the hidden message reached Earth. Admiral Cho was the first to see it. Kim Da-hee had managed to record the council's private meetings where they planned the whole trap. The recordings showed them changing the evidence and laughing about how easy it would be to control humanity once their captain was dead. Those monsters, Colonel Hae-ri whispered as she watched the recordings. They planned this from the beginning. Admiral Cho stood up slowly. His face had gone completely cold. Get me President Shin immediately, and wake up everyone in the defense department. I don't care if it's the middle of the night. Within an hour, every world leader was in an emergency meeting. The recordings played over and over, showing the galaxy exactly what the Galactic Council really was. Not peacekeepers, but bullies who destroyed anyone who might threaten their power. Dr. Lim Soo-bin arrived at the meeting carrying a briefcase that made everyone nervous. She was the head of Earth's most secret weapons program, the one that officially didn't exist. Madam President, Dr. Lim said, I think it's time to show them what humans do when you murder our people. President Shin looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. She saw anger, grief, and something else, a cold determination that frightened even her. The Council thinks we're primitive because we know war, she said slowly. They think that makes us weak. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Defense Minister Bae leaned forward. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we show them that humanity doesn't start fights, President Shin replied, but we finish them. Back on the council station, Commander Zix was pleased with how the execution had gone. The broadcast had reached every corner of the galaxy, and already 3 younger species had sent messages promising to obey council rules more carefully. The humans will surrender within days, he told Chairman Koss. Once they realize we can reach their world anytime we want, they'll accept our terms. Good, Koss replied. Their technology will be useful once we control it completely, and their planet has resources we need. Neither of them had bothered to study human history very carefully. If they had, They might have learned that humans had a saying, "You can kill a man, but you can't kill what he stands for." Captain Kang Wu had stood for humanity's hope for peace. His death had just turned that hope into something much more dangerous. On Earth, Admiral Cho activated communication systems that had been hidden for years. Signals went out to secret bases on the Moon, on Mars, and in the asteroid belt. Facilities that the Council didn't know existed began to wake up. Operation Righteous Thunder is now active, Cho announced. All units, prepare for immediate deployment. In her cell on the Council station, Kim Da-hee smiled as she felt the slight vibration. That meant ships were launching from hidden bays. Her message had gotten through. She looked at her fellow prisoners and whispered, "Captain Wu's death won't be for nothing. Earth is coming." The galaxy was about to learn that humans were much more dangerous when they were angry than when they were afraid. And right now, humanity was angrier than it had ever been in its entire history. Admiral Cho Min-jun stood before the largest gathering of military leaders in human history. Representatives from every nation on Earth had come to the emergency meeting. The room was silent except for the quiet hum of computers processing battle plans that had been secret until today. They wanted to see what humans do when cornered, Admiral Cho said, his voice carrying across the room. They murdered our envoy in cold blood. They lied to the galaxy about our intentions. They planned to enslave our entire species. Now they're about to find out what we do when someone hurts our family. Dr. Lim Subin stepped forward with her team of scientists. For 20 years we've been preparing for the day when Earth might face a threat from space. Today is that day. She activated a holographic display that showed weapon designs nobody in the room had ever seen before. These are quantum tunneling missiles. They don't fly through space, they appear instantly at their target. No shield in the galaxy can stop them because they materialize on the other side of any barrier. Gasps echoed around the room. Even the military leaders looked shocked. We also have kinetic bombardment platforms hidden throughout the solar system, Dr. Lim continued. They can accelerate metal rods to near light speed and send them anywhere in the galaxy. The impact energy is equivalent to nuclear weapons, but they're completely undetectable until they hit. President Shin Ye-jin looked grim. How many aliens are we talking about fighting? The three main council races have about 50 billion individuals spread across 12 worlds, Admiral Cho replied. Their military has roughly 10 million ships of various sizes. And we have 2,000 ships that they know about, Cho said with a slight smile, and about 8,000 more that they don't. The secret had been kept for decades. While Earth publicly built exploration and research vessels, they had also been constructing a hidden fleet in the asteroid belt. The ships were designed for one purpose: to protect humanity from threats that might come from the stars. Captain Ru Dong-min commanded one of those secret ships. The stealth destroyer Vengeance was invisible to most scanners and faster than anything the Council had. His mission was simple but dangerous: get close to Council space and map their military positions. "Captain," his navigator said as they approached the edge of Council territory, "I'm detecting massive ship movements. Looks like they're gathering their fleet at the main military base." "How many ships?" Ryu asked. "At least 3,000, sir. All their biggest warships. They're expecting us to attack head-on," Ryu realized. "Just like any primitive species would do. They don't know humans very well." Meanwhile, Commander Seo Hye-jin was coordinating with Earth's outer colonies, Mars base, Luna Station, and the mining facilities in the asteroid belt were all preparing for war. Each location had weapons and ships that the Council knew nothing about. "The plan is working," she reported to Admiral Cho. "All our hidden bases are online and ready. The Council still thinks we only have the ships they've seen." Back on Earth, the quantum communication system came alive with messages from around the galaxy. Other species who had been bullied by the Council were quietly offering support. The reptilian Kethvar had weapons they could share. The machine intelligence called the Collective was willing to provide computing power for targeting systems. "Seems we're not the only ones who hate the Council," Defense Minister Bay noted as he read the messages. "Good," Admiral Cho replied. "But this is our fight. We don't want to drag innocent species into our war. The first human strike came without warning. Captain Nam Jun-ki led a squadron of stealth fighters to the Council's forward observation post. The small station was supposed to watch for human ships approaching from Earth's direction. The station's crew never saw what hit them. One moment, they were scanning empty space. The next moment, their facility was gone, destroyed by weapons that had appeared out of nowhere. "What just happened?" demanded Commander Zix when he got the report. "The observation post has stopped responding," his aide reported. "We're getting no signals at all. Send a patrol to investigate." The patrol found nothing but debris floating in space. There were no engine trails, no energy signatures, no sign of what had destroyed the station. "Impossible," Zix buzzed angrily. "Humans don't have this technology." But they did. While the Council had spent thousands of years in peaceful prosperity, humanity had spent centuries perfecting the art of war. Every conflict, every battle, every tactical innovation had been studied and improved upon. The Council was about to face an enemy that understood violence in ways they had forgotten. The second strike hit 3 Council supply convoys at the same time. Ships carrying food, fuel, and ammunition simply vanished from space. One moment, they were there. The next moment, they were gone, leaving only expanding clouds of gas and metal. On the Council station where Captain Wu had died, Chairman Koss was getting desperate reports from across his territory. 6 more facilities have gone silent," his communications officer reported. "The pattern makes no sense. They're not attacking our main bases or our biggest ships." "Then what are they doing?" Koss demanded. Nolvari Prime swirled in its container, the purple gas moving faster as it got more agitated. "They are cutting our supply lines. Without fuel and ammunition, our big ships become useless metal in space." It was a strategy the Council had never seen before because they had never fought a real war. They thought in terms of big battles between large fleets. Humans thought in terms of logistics, supply chains, and making the enemy unable to fight before the battle even started. Admiral Cho watched the reports coming in from across the galaxy. "How are our losses?" "0 casualties so far," Colonel Hayrie reported. "Our stealth technology is working perfectly. They can't see us coming, and they can't track us when we leave." "Phase 2 begins now," Cho ordered. Across Council space, human ships began appearing near military bases. But instead of attacking, they did something unexpected. They broadcast a message in every language the Council used. "Citizens of the Galactic Council," Admiral Cho's voice said, "your leaders murdered our diplomat and planned to enslave our species. We are not here to hurt innocent people. We are here to remove the criminals who control your government. Anyone who surrenders will be treated with honor. Anyone who fights will face the full force of Earth's military." Many alien crews were confused. They had been told humans were savage monsters who would destroy everything in their path. But the message promised to protect innocent people and only target military leaders. Some Council ships began to surrender immediately. Their crews had no desire to die for leaders who had lied to them. Others tried to fight and quickly learned that human weapons were far more advanced than anyone had suspected. The space battle near the Veltari homeworld lasted only 6 minutes. 300 Council ships faced 50 human vessels and lost completely. The humans used tactics that seemed impossible. Ships that could teleport behind enemy lines, weapons that ignored shields, and coordination that moved like a single mind. "How are they doing this?" Commander Zix screamed as he watched his fleet get destroyed. "Our ships are bigger. Our weapons are more powerful." "Size doesn't matter when you can't hit your target," Admiral Cho said as his image appeared on Zix's screen. "And power doesn't help when your enemy is behind your shields." The human admiral looked calm and cold. "You wanted to judge us by our capacity for violence. Here's your judgment. Surrender now, or we'll show you what real war looks like." The human fleet surrounded the 3 Council homeworlds like a steel net closing around trapped fish. Admiral Cho Min-jun stood on the bridge of Earth's Wrath, the most powerful warship humanity had ever built. Through the main window, he could see the crystal cities of the Veltari homeworld spinning slowly below. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're getting surrender signals from 18 more Council ships. That brings the total to over 6,000. Good, Cho replied. Any word from the rescue mission? Captain Nam is reporting success. They've found our people. On the council station, Captain Nam Junki moved carefully through the prison section with his rescue team. The alien guards had surrendered without a fight when human soldiers appeared in their corridors like ghosts. Most of them had never seen real combat and didn't know how to react when faced with Earth's special forces. Lee So-jin, Park Jin-ho, Kim Da-hee, Nam called out as his team opened cell doors. Captain Nam? Lee So-jin's voice came from the darkness. How did you find us? Dr. Kim's message got through, Nam replied as he helped her out of the cell. The whole galaxy knows what really happened here. Kim Da-hee looked tired but determined. Did you get the proof I sent? Every recording, every document. The council's lies are exposed for everyone to see. Park Jin-ho was weak from his imprisonment but still alert. What about Captain Wu? Nam's face grew dark. We were too late for him, but his death won't be forgotten. As the rescue team prepared to leave, Da-hee grabbed Nam's arm. Captain, there's something else. I found evidence of other species the council has destroyed. We're not the first ones they've done this to. Show me. Da-hee led them to a computer terminal and quickly accessed files she had discovered during her captivity. Look at this. The Torvan species. The council claimed they died from a plague, but these files show the council poisoned their water supply when they refused to surrender their technology. More files appeared on the screen. The Zilani were supposedly destroyed by an asteroid impact, but the council moved that asteroid using gravity weapons. The Makari, the Hedron, the Yasani, all of them were eliminated because they wouldn't submit to council rule. Nam stared at the evidence with growing horror. How many? 17 species over the last 5,000 years. Da-hee whispered. Billions of innocent people murdered to keep the council in power. Copy everything, Nam ordered his team. The galaxy needs to see this. Back in space, the final battle was ending before it really began. Commander Hethkan Zix had gathered the last loyal council ships around his homeworld, but his forces were falling apart. Many of his captains had already switched sides when they learned the truth about their government. Commander, his aide reported, the humans are broadcasting something new. Put it on screen, Zix buzzed angrily. Dr. Kim Young-sik appeared on the display. He was Earth's new ambassador, chosen to replace Captain Wu. But unlike Wu, Dr. Kim had an entire fleet backing up his words. People of the galaxy, Dr. Kim said, we have discovered the Council's darkest secret. For 5,000 years, your leaders have been committing genocide against any species that threatened their power. The broadcast showed the evidence Da-hee had found. File after file of mass murder, of planets destroyed, of entire civilizations wiped out to maintain Council control. The reaction across the galaxy was immediate and explosive. The Veltari, Hethkan, and Nulvari peoples are not responsible for these crimes, Dr. Kim continued. Your leaders committed these acts in your name without your knowledge. But now you know the truth. What will you do about it? On the Hethkan homeworld, millions of insectoid beings watched the broadcast in shock. They had believed their military existed to keep peace, not to murder innocent species. Riots began in the streets as angry citizens demanded answers from their government. The Nulvari were even more horrified. Their gaseous forms swirled in agitation as they realized their trade networks had been built on the wealth stolen from dead civilizations. But it was the Veltari reaction that sealed the Council's fate. The crystal beings valued truth above all else, and learning that their leaders had lied for thousands of years shattered their loyalty completely. Within hours, every Veltari military commander had ordered their ships to stand down. Chairman Kos found himself alone in his crystal palace, abandoned by his own people. When human soldiers arrived to arrest him, he didn't resist. You have destroyed everything, Kos said to Admiral Cho as the energy shackles closed around his wrists. We destroyed a lie, Cho replied. The truth was already there, waiting to come out. The war crimes trials took place on a neutral space station with judges from dozens of species. The evidence was overwhelming. Kos, Zix, and the other council leaders were found guilty of genocide and sentenced to life imprisonment. But the real change came in what replaced the council. Dr. Kim Young-sik stood before the new Galactic Assembly, a group that included representatives from every intelligent species in the galaxy. The old council ruled through fear and lies, Dr. Kim said. The new assembly will be built on truth and mutual respect. No species will dominate others. No race will be forced to surrender their freedom to join us. A Veltari representative stood up. What guarantee do we have that humans won't become the new oppressors? Your military power is greater than anything we've ever seen. Dr. Kim nodded. That's a fair question. Here's our answer. He activated a holographic display showing Earth's military bases. We're sharing our defensive technology with any species that wants it. No one will ever again be helpless against bullies. And we're placing our most powerful weapons under assembly control, not human control. The assembly chamber buzzed with surprised voices. No species in galactic history had ever voluntarily given up such an advantage. But why? Asked a Hethkin delegate. Because we didn't fight this war to rule the galaxy, Dr. Kim replied. We fought it so that no one could rule the galaxy through murder and fear. Power that comes from strength alone isn't real power, it's just tyranny waiting to happen. The new Galactic Accords were signed 6 months later. The document established principles that had never existed before. The right of every species to develop at their own pace, the right to refuse membership in larger organizations, and the right to defend themselves against aggression. A memorial was built on the old council station. At its center stood a statue of Captain Kang Wu with an inscription in every galactic language. He came in peace, died for truth, and his sacrifice freed the galaxy. Lee So-jin, now promoted to captain, often visited the memorial. Do you think he would be proud of what we built? She asked Admiral Cho during one visit. I think he'd be proud that we chose justice over revenge, Cho replied. We could have become conquerors, but we chose to become protectors instead. The galaxy was finally free, not because humanity had imposed its will, but because humanity had given everyone else the power to protect themselves. It was a lesson that would be remembered for thousands of years. True peace doesn't come from being the strongest, but from making sure the strong protect the weak. And in the deepest archives of the new assembly, Kim De-hee continued her work cataloging the council's crimes. She had found evidence of 37 destroyed species, and she wouldn't rest until every victim was remembered and every crime was documented. The galaxy had learned that humans were dangerous when angry, but it had also learned something more important. Humans were trustworthy when they made promises, and they had promised that no species would ever again face extinction for refusing to surrender their freedom. It was a promise humanity intended to keep,